I think the biggest challenge of this course is that it's kind of shale and loose. I mean, for sure, when you look at the map and you look at what's out here, first thing you think of is all the hammer trails. You know, it's like there's a reason why they're called sludge hammer and claw hammer, and you know these are tough trails, lots of big rocks. But I think some of the toughest parts about it is the fact that the rocks aren't always planted. The rocks are moving. It's kind of shale. And then you mix in a little bit of that high desert sand and it becomes really slippery. So I think the toughest part is probably dealing with those conditions and managing your body and your motorcycle all the way to the end, because I think what's going to happen is a lot of guys are going to bulldog it through and smash through, but the equipment's not going to make it. So that's a big test. You can't win if you don't finish. I think one of the hardest parts about this race for a lot of people is going to be navigation, because a lot of these riders, they ride on hard tracks all the time. And I think a good example is when you get out on the trail, it's marked with arrows, but it's not really all that clear sometimes. And there's a lot of other trails, you know, here in Johnson Valley, it's open OHV, so there's a lot of stuff going on. So I'm willing to guess that 30% of the riders get lost or turned around in some way, shape, or form, or miss a trail, or do something like that. I really think that's gonna be hard for people. For me, I use a GPS in Baja all the time, so it's kind of a no-brainer, but these other guys are like, oh man, I wonder what I'm gonna do. They're like totally clueless. So I think that's something that's gonna be really tough for a lot of people.
Scariest section?
Anything going downhill is scary for me. I don't really like the exposure, for sure. I raced out here in a rock crawler before with the Lovell brothers, who are some of the best in the business, and navigated, and so the exposure off the edges definitely scares me. But the big downhills are creepy, and then the pro option for lap number 2, there's like a waterfall that you got to go up, and that's going to be a big challenge. I mean, that's something that's there's going to be a ton of fans back there, so it's going to be a little squirrely, but it's I think that's something that's going to be a huge challenge.